Are there any questions for the delegate? I see Chair Wilson, would you like to ask your question?
Just briefly, Madam Chair. Delegate Cox, I have a question. So obviously this is a tragedy in our historical context, and it may make some people uncomfortable. Some people, depending on their dissent, may actually be uncomfortable with us preserving and memorializing this tragedy. Are you okay with memorializing and teaching something like this that may make some citizens in our community feel uncomfortable, although it is history?
Trying to understand your question, Mr.
It was a yes or no question. Are you fine with memorializing and teaching something like this, the attack on Pearl Harbor, although it may make some individuals uncomfortable, depending on their descendancy?
Well, Mr. Chair, war, as you know, is always uncomfortable.
Yes, sir.
And I don't believe for a second that we should cover up and ignore the heroic deeds of men and women of our country who have given their all. You can walk through Arlington and see their graves, and to seek to fail to remember those who died for freedom, who died to preserve the liberties of the world, to ensure that the atrocities of that time were rectified and would never again occur. I would be more concerned with not recognizing that memory.
So it does sound like you agree that history should be taught no matter how uncomfortable it makes people. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? There being no other questions, all the other witnesses have chosen not to testify, but just left their position of support. So that concludes the hearing on House Joint Resolution. We proceed to the last piece of legislation on our agenda for today, and that is House Simple Resolution 1. Delegate Cox, you have 4 minutes.
Thank you again, Madam Chair and members of the committee. It's an honor to present House Simple Resolution 1, Articles of Impeachment of Governor Lawrence J. Hogan, Jr. I'm a Republican. Party loyalty and personal affection and precedents of the past must fall before the arbiter of men's actions, the law itself. No man, not even the President of the United States, is above the law. For our system of justice and our system of government to survive, we must pledge our highest allegiance to the law and not the common frailties of men. President Nixon worked and worked to try to cover this thing up so it wouldn't come to light. Those are the words of Congressman Lawrence J. Hogan, Sr., July 25th, 1974, in his opening statement for the Articles of Impeachment in the hearing of President Richard Nixon. At the federal level and in every state, including Maryland, our government is formed with a system of checks and balances. That is to say that every government has equal and shared power between the executive, legislative, and judicial branches of government, each providing oversight of the other. In addition, those branches of government operate on the basis of law, which has been properly presented, debated, and passed by the legislature and signed by the governor. Lawful state government does not operate on the basis of a gubernatorial decree. There is no king here in Maryland. Co-equal branches of government operating on the basis of law protect citizens from abusive, tyrannical government. This system has led us to freedom and prosperity, and is this system that was broken by Governor Hogan during the COVID executive order lockdowns. The Maryland Constitution stipulates that the legislature has the ability to impeach a governor when it becomes necessary. Indeed, it must originate here in the House. On this basis, the articles have been presented and brought to the body for consideration. The facts are stated as follows. Article 1, the Declaration of Rights provides that all government of right originates from the people and founded in compact only and is instituted for the good of the whole. Governor Hogan has repeatedly and notoriously violated that compact by issuing orders that are restricted and protracted beyond the intent of the legislature when it granted the governor authority to restrict certain freedoms during a state of emergency. Since March 5th, 2020, Governor Lawrence Hogan Jr. has issued orders requiring religious facilities and businesses to close, declaring some businesses to be non-essential, ordering citizens to stay in their homes and restricting citizens' right to travel, and limiting the rights of citizens to assemble and exercise their First Amendment liberties. On November 2020, police were required to enforce orders limiting the rights of assembly at private family Thanksgiving meals. And Governor Hogan boasted of a, quote, snitch line that he established to allow people to call into state authorities to report on their neighbors having Thanksgiving Day celebrations. At the same time, Governor Hogan has individually and through staff awarded procurement contracts based on political relationships, misspent Marylanders' tax dollars on unusable COVID-19 test kits, and intentionally misled the legislature and the public on the status of those inadequate test kits. And these malfeasances demonstrate contempt for the Constitution of Maryland and the limits that it places on the authority of the office of governor. You have the articles in front of you. There are 6 of them. They include such facts as the fact that the governor established in the second floor of the State House high visibility police units to interfere with the lawful and constitutional authority of local sheriffs and require them to violate the rights of Marylanders. It included a burn on read messaging application to seek to cover up conversations which, according to the Washington Post, included COVID-19 communications. In fact,
Delegate, your time has expired. Can you please summarize?
Thank you. And in fact, Madam Chair, I will wrap it up with saying, in fact, in this exact context, my office sought a Public Information Act request, which was denied by the governor because of his statement that the COVID-19 task forces were, quote, non-governmental entities, and therefore the information was not available to be shared with the public. This is exactly the kind of cover-up that government is never to do. And for those reasons and the reasons stated in the articles, I would respectfully ask a favorable report. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Delegate. Are there any questions for the sponsor? Seeing none, thank you very much. There is one witness in favor of this, that is Vince McAvoy.
Madam Chair, Mr. McAvoy is not in the waiting room.
Okay, well then that concludes the hearing on House Simple Resolution 1. And that concludes the hearing portion of our meeting. At this time, I would like to make a motion for to accept the withdrawal of the Delegate Kittleman's House Bill 976. We've received the letter. Is there a motion? Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. That bill is withdrawn. Is there a motion on House Simple Resolution 1?
Yes, Madam Chair, I would like to move.
Delegate Buckle, the minority leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to move unfavorable on House Simple Resolution 1. I do not feel that it meets the standards for impeachment that would exist under Maryland law and would be unprecedented under the circumstances to proceed at this time. It is a political issue, not a legal issue worthy of impeachment and that extraordinary remedy under our system. So I would move unfavorable on House Simple Resolution 1 at this time.
Is there a second on the unfavorable motion?
Delegate seconds.
Chairman Barve seconded the motion. So we have before us a negative. I'm going to take a voice vote. All those in favor of the negative of rejecting House Simple Resolution 1. Does someone want a roll call? I'm sorry, I can't hear whoever's speaking. I can't hear you. Who's speaking?
That was background noise, Madam Chair.
Oh, okay. Thank you. In that case, I'll proceed with a voice vote. All those in favor of the unfavorable, please say aye.
Aye.
Is there any opposed? Please say no. The ayes seem to have it. The ayes have it. That bill has been given an unfavorable. And with that,